This is the last verse, the afterthoughts, the final word, and the realest conversation you will ever hear on an episode of Silence. My name is Romeo Mastin. I am your host today, and I'm joined by some very distinguished guests. My brother, that's right, the legendary DJ from the Goodfellas on Power 106 and 93.5 K-Day. Also, you can catch him in movies. And of course, my co-host on 93.5 K-Day's morning show. And you can catch you on TV or Fox Soul as well. Successful. So Successful, I got to ask you this question. Was this really just a robbery? What are your thoughts on that?
You know what? It's really hard to say because so many people are saying, well, the address was leaked. Mm-hmm. So could it be the address was leaked and somebody actually took advantage of an opportunity? Or was this a setup? So for me, I honestly think it could be both. They took advantage of the opportunity and they was like, this is the time now.
Well, depending on who you ask, like when he came into town, people said he didn't check in, so to speak.
Right.
There also was a visual of a luggage in the background that had an address on. If you can zoom in and get the address from that, I'm not saying that's impossible, but that's a lot. But DJ, what are your thoughts on that?
Actually, man, I think it's a little bit deeper than that. But I think they're trying to portray a story that comes out to just make us do exactly what we're doing. Discussing it and being confused.
Well, that's a good question. And you've always been a deep dude, so I like that. We're deep diving into this situation because my question is, who felt threatened by Pop's rise? Could this be someone that felt threatened by his rise, thinking they may have been taking away some of their light? What do you think about that?
Pop Smoke was serious, though. Like,
he was that dude.
You got to understand that in the rap game, there's so many people watching you come up. So many haters, so many lovers, but then when you finally get to that plateau, it's like, who do you trust?
Yeah, and Pop Smoke, he had a distinguished sound. Like, he came out of nowhere for a lot of people, and he took over the threatened by Pop Smoke, wondering who is this guy? What is he gonna do next in the music industry?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. When I heard his name, I had no clue who the cat was, but it was like a tornado in the Midwest. All you heard was the alarm, and then all of a sudden, boom, and I was like, and it was there, and he was there. He was on top.
One of the biggest dudes to come out of New York since 50 Cent, if you really want to think about it, right? Especially that had this kind of like energy and aura about him. He had all of that. So with that being said, there's still questions. I mean, we can take it back to the 90s. Where the East and West Coast beef, right? Was it still some of that? Because this did happen on the West Coast. His life was taken on the West Coast. We don't want to think that that's something that's still lingering on, but is that a thought we have to put into the situation as
well? Successful, what do you think? I guess I can't ask you what you think and I answer, huh?
I like making my guests think a little harder right now. Because that's the truth. I mean, there's so many ways we can look at it, but we hope it's not that deep.
The thing is, Rome, we've heard so many stories. We've heard so many situations go down on the East and West Coast beef, and it's so minimized right now and mild.
Let me ask you this then, because, the industry probably could have done a lot more to help Pop Smoke and other artists we talk about on Silence to be smarter out in the streets, more protected out in the streets. So is the blood on the industry hands or the street hands at the end of the day?
You know what? The industry really, since the 1980s and 1990s, hip-hop began talking about how, being violent, hurting other people, gang members, and things like that. So they've made it really, cool to be in the industry. And
so it's kind of like they're trying to keep
gangster.
that reputation of it.
So, if they're doing that, then, of course, that's a part of the lifestyle.
This is your episode of Silence. My name is Romeo. I'm your host. And we'll see you next time on Silence.